In this video, I will be providing the solution to the 2024 JAMB Mathematics examination questions. Question 1 here says, if 2x squared minus kx minus 12 is divisible by x minus 4, find the value of k. A, 4, B, 5, C, 6, D, 7. So how do we solve this question here? The first thing we have to do is to write out this particular quadratic expression, 2x squared minus kx minus 12. So for question 1, the first thing we do is to write out the particular quadratic expression, which is 2x squared minus kx minus 12. So you have this. They said it is divisible by x minus 4. Now to solve this question, the first thing you have to do is to equate this to 0. So if you have that x minus 4 is equal to 0, move this over here. We'll have that x is equal to minus 4 crosses over becomes plus 4. So x is equal to 4. Now when this particular quadratic expression is divisible by this, all you have to do is to put x as being equal to 4 into, let's call this equation 1 or I, into equation I, and equate to 0. All right, equate to 0. So equate this to 0. If we do that, we'll have that 2x squared minus kx minus 12. Let's put x as 4. You have 2 into x squared becomes 4 squared minus k into x becomes 4 minus 12. We said equate this to 0. So it's equal to 0. Working on this gives you 2 into 4 squared is 16 minus k into 4, okay, minus 12, it's equal to 0. Working on this, 2 times 16 is 32 minus k times 4 is 4k minus 12, it's equal to 0. From here, we have 32 minus 12, which is 20. Bring this one down, minus 4k is equal to 0. Move 20 over here. You have minus 4k is equal to plus 20 moves over becomes minus 20. Working on this, divide here by minus 4, divide here by minus 4. Minus cancels minus, 4 cancels 4. We'll have that k is equal to minus cancels minus, 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the value of k there is equal to 5. So let's see which option that is. That is option B, 5. That's your correct answer. Next up, question number 2. Question 2 says, find the mean deviation of 2, 4, 5, and 9. A, 1, B, 2, C, 5, D, 7. All right. So how do we solve this particular question? Now, to solve this particular question for question 2, let's first of all get the mean. All right. So let's get the mean. The mean is usually x bar. X bar is equal to, you sum up the numbers there. The numbers I have there, 2, 4, 5, and 9. So let's sum them up. That becomes 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 9. Divide this by the number of items or the number of numbers. You have 1 number, 2 number, 3 number, 4 numbers. So you have 4 numbers in total, right? So divide it by 4 because you have 4 numbers. And if you work on this, if you add up numerator here, 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 9, you have 20. Divide this by 4. 20 divided by 4 is equal to what there? 5. With this, we've gotten the mean, but not the mean deviation. We're asked to find the mean deviation. So how do we find mean deviation? Now, all we have to do is very simple. We'll take this value here, 5, right? You subtract each of these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Subtract them from 5. Or perhaps what we'll do is simple. We'll take this one first. That's 2. We'll subtract 5. and this will give us minus 3. We'll take the positive value only. All right, so make this positive, that becomes 3. The next number there is 4 minus 5, and that's equal to 4 minus 5 is minus 1. We'll take only positive value, that becomes plus 1. So we'll take the positive value. Next number there is 5. So we have 5 minus 5, and that's equal to 0. Of course, 0 is 0, so we have 0. Then finally, we have 9 minus 5, and that's equal to 4. 4 is already positive, so I'll take positive 4. So you have this. All right. The next thing you do is that these particular numbers here, you sum them up. All right. Remember that they have to be positive. So even when they are negative, as you can see here, you use the positive instead. All right. So let's sum the numbers there. You have 3 plus 1 plus 0 plus 4. All right. 3 plus 1 plus 0 plus 4. This divided by, how many numbers do you have here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 numbers. So divided by 4. And that will give you, look at numerator, 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. That becomes 8 over 4. 8 over 4 gives you what there? 2. So the correct answer there is 2. So look at the option there. The correct answer there is B, 2. That's how you solve this. Next up, question number 3. Question 3 says, a binary operation asterisk defined on the set of positive integers is such that x asterisk y is equal to 2x minus 3y plus 2 for all positive integers x and y. The binary operation is A, commutative and closed on the set of positive integers. B, neither commutative nor closed on the set of positive integers. C, commutative but not closed on the set of positive integers. D, not commutative but not closed on the set of positive integers. So for question 3, how do we answer this question? Now, if you look at the question there, what we are given here is x asterisk y equal to 2x minus 3y plus 2. Now, from here, from question 3, we have that x asterisk y, it was given to us as 2x minus 3y plus 2. Now, with this same concept, if we take y asterisk x, that will be equal to 2. When we started with the x, it was 2x. Now we are starting with y, it becomes 2y minus 3. When y was on the right hand side, you had 3y. Now you have x on the right hand side, so it becomes 3x, then bring down plus 2. So we have this. So if you look at this, you can see that x asterisk y is not commutative with y asterisk x, right? And to prove that this is true, all we have to do is, let's take x as a value. Let's take x as equal to, let's say, 1 and y as equal to 2. This will be equal to, what I'll have here will be 2 into x, that's 1, minus 3 into y, that's 2, plus 2. If you work on this, this will give you 2 times 1, 2. This will give you 2 here. Minus 3 times 2 is 6 plus 4. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2. So you have minus 2 here. Let's put that same value of x and y being 1 and 2 respectively into this part here. This becomes 2. Y becomes 1 minus 3x becomes 3. No, y is 2, please. 2 into y is 2. So that's 2 minus 3 into x. X is 1 plus 2. 2 times 2 gives you 4 minus 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2. 4 minus 1 is 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. You can see that this value is not equal to this value here. So the first thing we can have here is that it is not commutative. Let's start with this. It is not commutative. So that's the first point we'll make there. It is not commutative. Now, what about it being positive or negative? The fact now is this, depends on what value you take x and y. You can see that it can be either positive or negative. All right. There's a value you can take x and you have, like, if you look at this, when I took this value here, you can see that I had a negative term, minus 2. With this same value, when I exchange this, I have my value here as 3. So what that means is that This particular expression can be positive or negative. So hence, it is not closed on positive integers. That means when we say it is not closed on positive integers, that's right, it's not closed on positive integers. When something is closed on positive integers, it means that irrespective of what you take the value of x and y, it will always be positive. But that's not true. You can say that sometimes it can be negative. So in essence, it is not closed on positive integers. So let's see which option is. It is not commutative and it is not closed on positive integers. For question number, let's look at this. Okay, the correct option here is B. So you can see it is neither commutative nor closed on the set of positive integers. So B is the correct answer. Next up, question number 4. Question 4 says evaluate the integral of cos x dx, upper limit pi over 2, lower limit minus pi over 2. A is 0, B is 1, C is 2, D is 3. All right. So how do we solve this question? For question number 4, we have the integral of pi over 2 and then minus pi over 2 of cos x dx. We have this. So how do we solve this question? This is equal to, the first thing we do is that we would ignore the limit. So ignore the upper limit, ignore lower limit for now. Let's just take the integral of cos x dx. The question now is that if you integrate cos x dx, what do you get? If I integrate cos x, what you have is sine x. So that becomes sine x plus a constant. But whenever you're dealing with definite integrals, that means integrals with upper limit and lower limit, as you can see here, you can ignore the constants. All right. I've explained this concept in our video on definite integrals. All right. So you can go to our playlist, look for the video on definite integrals, and you have more explanation on this. Okay. Of course, you can learn integration from that playlist. So we have a separate playlist that talks about integration and calculus in general. So from this, so you've integrated cos x dx, you have sine x. The next thing you do here is to bring in your limits there. So I'll bring the limits here. The limits there are pi over 2 and minus pi over 2. Now, how do you solve this? To solve this, the first thing you must notice that pi, the actual value of pi is 180. All right. So when you have pi over 2 becomes 180 over 2, and that's equal to 90 degrees. Okay, pi is 180 degrees. So that's 90 degrees. In essence, this becomes, what we have here becomes equal to the definite integral of sine x into upper limit. This is 90 degrees. That's 90 degrees. The lower limit here is minus 90 degrees. So we have this. Okay, so this will now be equal to, let's work on this. This becomes sine x. So to solve this particular expression, this one here, when you have sine x, that becomes sine. In place of x here, I'll put this, what I have here is called the upper limit. That becomes sine 90 minus, repeat this same thing here, which is sine. In place of x here, put the lower limit, which is minus 90. Sine minus 90. So you have this 90 degrees. All right, 90 degrees. Working on this, this is equal to sine 90 degrees gives you 1 minus sine of minus 90 degrees. So if you punch sine minus 90, you have minus 1. And that's equal to 1 minus minus 1 gives you plus 1. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. So the correct answer to that question is 2. That means C is the correct option. All right. Moving on, let's look at the next question there. Question number 5. Question 5 here says, on a pie chart, there are 6 sectors, of which 4 angles are 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, and the remaining 2 angles are in the ratio 2:1. Find the smaller angles of the remaining 2. Find the smaller angle of the remaining 2 angles. So that should be smaller angle of the remaining 2 angles. A, 15 degrees, B, 30 degrees, C, 45 degrees, D, 60 degrees. So how do we solve question number 5? For question 5, the first thing we do is to find the sum of angles, sum of the known angles. Let's start with the known angles. Sum of known angles. The sum of the known angles becomes 30 plus, they give us 30, they give us 45 degrees. So 30 plus 45 plus 60 plus 90. These were the given angles. Of course, all of these in degrees. If you sum all of this, what you will have there is 225 degrees. All right, so this is the sum of the known angles. Now, to get the remaining angles, what do we know? We know that the total sum of the angles should be equal to 360 degrees. So what is remaining is simply 360 degrees minus the known angles, or the sum of known angles, minus 225 degrees. If you sum this, your value is 135 degrees. So what is remaining is 135 degrees. This 135 degrees is in the ratio 2:1. Right? If it's in the ratio 2:1, how do we calculate that? To calculate that, or to calculate the two remaining angles, all you have to do is to sum up their ratios. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So the first angle there, the first unknown angle, so first angle will be equal to, take the number here, 2 all over the sum, which is 3, times the remaining angle, as we can see here. So times 135. Do this correctly. 2 times 135, right? If you punch that, then divide it by 3. So if you punch that, 2 times 135, your value gives you 270. 270 divided by 3 gives you 90 degrees. So you have this as 90 degrees. What about the second angle? For the second angle, for the first one we took 2. For the second angle, we'll take 1. That becomes 1 all over their sum, which is 3, times 135. 1 times 135 is 135. 135 divided by 3 is 45 degrees. You're asking the value of the smaller angle. So we can see that the smaller angle is 45 degrees. All right. Now, if it's JAMB that is being timed, you don't have to do these two angles. If they ask for the smaller angles, the smaller angle will be the angle of the smaller number, which is 1. So in case of JAMB exam, just go straight to using 1, because 1 is a smaller number as compared to 2. But I have to solve it out so that you can see the how it plays out. So when they say this is a smaller angle, you should know why. So that's why I did the long solving. But in case of JAMB, just choose 1. If they give you 3 numbers there, let's say 3:4:6, they ask for the smaller angle, it will be the one of 3. If they ask for the biggest angle, it will be the one of 6. All right, that's how it's been done. So the correct answer there is 45. So let's take that down. That's C, 45 degrees. This is your answer. All right, moving on. Let's solve the next question there. Next question, question number 6. It says, make Q the subject of the formula when L is equal to 4m root PQ divided by 3. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. So how do we solve this question here? Let's copy down this question there. For question 6, they said L is equal to 4m into the square root of PQ, this all over 3. We have this. You ask to make, which of them again? Make Q the subject of the formula. So let's make Q to be subject of the formula. Of course, this is all over 1. So first things first, this cross multiplies here. That becomes 4m root PQ times 1 is equal to L times 3. That becomes 3, or L times 3. Okay. L times 3. Cross multiply first. Moving on, this times 1 is itself, which becomes 4m root PQ is equal to L times 3 is 3L. We want to get Q, divide here by 4m, divide here by 4m. So this cancels this. So we have that root of PQ is equal to 3L over 4m. At this point, what next? To get the value of Q, let's eliminate the square root. And to do that, we'll square both sides. So square this and then square this. The square will cancel square root. So we have that PQ is equal to, from here we have 3L over 4M. Of course, all of these are being squared. If we square this, 3 times 3 squared gives you 9. L squared gives you L squared all over 4 squared gives you 16. And then M squared gives you M squared. So we have this. All right, so at this juncture, what do you do next? We have that PQ from here. We have that PQ is equal to 9L squared. Let's see. Okay, let me write this here. PQ is equal to 9L squared over 16M squared. That's 16M squared. To get the value of Q, multiply this by 1 over P, so that you cancel out the P. Multiply this by 1 all over P. From here, this P cancels this P, so Q is equal to, what we have here becomes 9L squared times 1, that's 9L squared all over 16 times P is 16P, bringing M squared, M squared. So this is 9L squared all over 15PM squared, or 16PM squared, PM squared, 16M squared P. So this can still be written as 9L squared all over 16. You can 16, then M squared P is the same thing. Let's see which option has this. This was question number 6. Let's see question number 6. 9L squared all over 16M squared P. That's option A. So for question number 6, option A is the correct answer. All right. Next up, question number 7. So question 7 says if sine theta equal to 3 over 5, find tan theta. You have A 3 over 4, B 3 over 5, C 2 over 5, D 1 over 5. So how do we solve this question? Let's look at question number 7. All right. All right, question 7. So for question 7 there, they said sine theta is equal to 3 over 5. So 3 over 5. We have to find the value of tan theta. Now 3 over 5, don't forget that sine is equal to, we use SOHCAHTOA. So that means opposite over hypotenuse. So 3 over 5, it means 3 is the opposite of the angle. 5 is the hypotenuse of the triangle. All right. So let's get a triangle here. I'm going to form this triangle here, and then here, and then here. We'll choose this to be an angle theta. We said the opposite, as we said here, will be 3. So 3, and the hypotenuse will be 5. This becomes 5. Now, all we have to do now is get the value of the adjacent. Let's call this x. We know that from Pythagoras theorem, square of the hypotenuse, 5 squared, is equal to the sum of the other two sides squared. 3 squared plus x squared. 5 squared is 25. It's equal to 3 squared is 9 plus x squared. Move this over here. 25 minus 9 is equal to x squared. 25 minus 9 is 16, is equal to x squared. So x, to get x, we'll take the square root of 16, which is equal to what there? 4. So we've gotten the value of x as 4. All right. Let's see how we can use this. So the value of x here, this side, is equal to what there? 4, as we've just solved. Now we have to find tan of theta. Tan, using the TOA, all right, SOHCAHTOA, tan is opposite over adjacent. From here, opposite is 3 all over, adjacent is here, which is 4. So you have 4. So the correct answer there for tan theta is 3 over 4. 3 over 4 is option A. So option A is the correct answer. All right. Next up, let's look at question number 8. So for question 8, let's take down this question here. Next up, question 8. Question 8 says evaluate 3 over 8 divided by 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 in the first bracket, divided by 1 over 8 times 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3 in the second bracket. Your options are A, 1 over 4, B, 1 over 3, C, 1 over 2, D, 1. So how do we solve this question here? For question 8 there, question number 8, what we are given there, the first bracket you have 3 over 8 divided by, what is better? 3 over 8 divided by 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. We have this. This divided by, in the second bracket, we have 1 over 8 times 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3. So plus 1 over 3. So we have this. All right. To simplify this, let's start with the first bracket. For the first bracket there, when it comes to things like this, you want to note that division, you have these signs here, division and subtraction. You want to note that division takes precedence over subtraction. So work with the one that involves division first. If you use board mass, brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we'll take division first before subtraction. Let's take division first. So for the first bracket, let's call this first bracket. Let's take division first. If we take division first, we have this one here, 3 over 8 divided by 1 over 2, and that's equal to, this gives you 3 over 8 changes to times 2 over 1, and that's equal to, from here, 2 cancels here, 1, 2 cancels here, 4. 3 times 1 gives you 3, all over 4 times 1 is 4. So this gives you 3 over 4. Now I'm bringing the next thing there, which is minus 1 over 3. So this minus 1 over 3. Now in solving this, of course, this will be equal to, the LCM of 4 and 3 is 12. So you have 12 there. This becomes 4. This becomes 12 divided by 4, and that's 3. 3 times numerator, 3 times 3, and that's 9. So 9 minus 12 divided by 3, that's 4. 4 times numerator, 4 times 1, and that gives you 4. So I have 4. 9 minus 4 is 5 over 12. So the first thing you have there is 5 over 12. So the first bracket there, all of this gives you 5 over 12. Let's note this. So 5 over 12 divided by, let's see second bracket. For second bracket, what do we have? For second bracket, what we have is 1 over 8. Of course, we have multiplication, this sign here, and addition. And again, referencing board mass, you can say we have multiplication first before addition. So we'll consider the multiplication term, or the terms multiplying first before the terms adding. In that case, it becomes this and this. That becomes 1 over 8 times 2 over 3. If they multiply from here, 1 times 2 gives you 2, all over 8 times 3 gives you 24, and that's equal to 2 here, 1, 2 here, 12, right? Divide both sides by 2, that becomes 1 all over 12. All right, so this becomes 1 over 12. That's this. Then bring the next in there, plus 1 over 3. This plus 1 all over 3. So at this juncture, all we have to do is take the LCM. The LCM of 12 and 3 is actually 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 1 times numerator, that's 1 times 1, that gives you 1. So you have this as 1 plus, the sign there's plus. Next up, you have 12 divided by 3, and that gives you 4. 4 times numerator, that's 4 times 1. 4 times 1 gives you 4. 1 plus 4 gives you 5 all over 12. So you have this as 5 over 12. So that means this second bracket here, everything here is 5 over 12. If this is true, that means this becomes 5 over 12. Let me write this better. 5 over 12 divided by, which is divided, this division here, that's divided by this one here, which is 5 over 12. If we divide this, that becomes 5 over 12. Division changes to multiplication. Invert this. This goes upwards, this goes downward. That becomes 12 all over 5. Now, working on this, this is equal to 5 times 12. There, what you have there is 60 all over 12 times 5, what you have there is 60. 60 divided by 60 gives you 1. So the correct answer there is 1. So let's see which option that is. For question number 8, for question 8, the correct answer there is D, which is 1. Next up, question number 9. Question 9 says, find the number of ways of selecting 6 out of 10 subjects for an examination. A, 218, B, 216, C, 215, D, 210. All right, so how do we solve this? For question number 9, in question 9, we are asked to find the number of ways of selecting 6 from 10. And when it comes to selection, what we do is simply combination. All right, selecting 6 out of 10 becomes 10 combination 6. All right, it's combination. And 10 combination 6 is expressed as 10 factorial all over 10 minus what you have here, which is minus 6 factorial, and then repeat this one here, which is 6 as a factorial. I've already explained this in our video on combination. So go to the playlist, look for mathematics, then look for the playlist, look for the video on combination. This becomes 10 factorial all over 10 minus 6 gives you 4. That's 4 factorial. And then this one here, 6 factorial. From here, this would be equal to, let's get the value of 10 factorial. Now, the easiest way to approach this is to write this in terms of 6 factorial. You want to note that 10 factorial is something as 10 times 9 times 8 times 7. So you're writing this in descending order times 6. At the 6, you can now stop at 6 factorial. This is correct. Divide this by what you have as denominator, which is simply 4 factorial times 6 factorial. From here, this can cancel this, so it's off. All right, this is equal to 10 times 9 times 8 times 7. This all over 4 factorial simply means 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's the meaning of 4 factorial. Let's look on numerator. For numerator, you have 10 times 9 times 8 times 7. And that's equal to 5040. So this all over. For denominator, what do we have there? We have 4 times 3, which is 12 times 2, 24 times 1, that's 24. So this into 24. 5040 divided by 24. 24, your answer there is 210. All right, so the answer there is 210 ways. That's your correct answer. So let's see what we have there. What are the options there? The correct option there is D, 210 ways. That's your correct option. Next up, question number 10. Question 10 says, a bookseller sells mathematics and English books. If 30 customers buy mathematics books, 20 customers buy English books, and 10 customers buy the two books, how many customers has he altogether? A, 30, B, 40, C, 50, and then D, 60. So how do we solve this question? Now, here's a question on Venn diagram, and you have two set of elements there, mathematics and English. So we'll use a Venn diagram for this. So I'm going to draw a Venn diagram. What do they call this? Let's call this U. Okay, fine. So U will have this. All right. So this and this, and then we have this. So we have this one here, and then this one here. We have mathematics, and then we have English. Now, from the question that they said, let's say they said 30 customers buy mathematics books. It should be BUY anyways. For mathematics, you have 30. What about English? For English, they said 20 customers buy English. So under English E, we'll add 20 there. Now, how many buys both? They said, and 10 customers buy the two books. So in between there, you have 10 customers. All right. Now, this is what's called a model diagram. To get the real diagram that you use in your solving, all you have to do is subtract this inner value, that 10, from this value. That becomes 30 minus 10. 30 minus 10 gives you 20. Here you have 20. Do the same thing here. Subtract the inner value, 10. 20 minus 10 gives you 10. So to get the total customers, you take this value here, 20, plus this one here. So the one at the middle remains unchanged, 10, plus this other value here after subtraction. That's 10. That's equal to 20 plus 10 is 30. 30 plus 10 is 40. So you have in total 40 customers. All right. The correct option there is B, 40. All right. So that's your correct option. Question 11 says, calculate the simple interest on 7,500 for 8 years at 5% per annum. A, 3,000 naira. B, 600 naira. C, 300 naira. D, 150 naira. So how do we solve this question here? Now for question 11, we're given a question on simple interest, and we know that simple interest SI is equal to PRT all over 100. And that's simply principal times rate times time all over 100. The principal is the amount you're given there, which is 7,500. That becomes 7,500 times the rate. Talks about the percentage there. They said at 5%. So the rate there is 5 times the time is in years, the value you have, which is 8 years. So that becomes 8 in years. Divide this by 100. Let's work on numerator there. If I work on numerator, you have 7,500 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 8. That gives you 300,000. That's 300, 1, 2, 3, all over 100. So 300,000 over 100. This cancels this cancels this. Your value there becomes 3,000 in the currency, which is Naira. So the correct answer for this question, question number 11, is A, 3,000 Naira. So that's your answer. Next up, question 12. Question 12 says, find the angle subtended at the center of a circle by a chord which is equal in length to the radius of the circle. A, 30 degrees. B, 45 degrees. C, 60 degrees. D, 90 degrees. All right. So how do we solve this particular question? Now to solve this question, let's first of all get a circle. All right. Let's get a circle here. All right. This is not good. Let's draw something better. Let's take this to be a circle of, a circle. We'll take here as the center there, which is O. They said they should find the angle subtended at the center of a circle. That's this point O by a chord. From here, we'll take a chord to somewhere here. We'll call this point A. And then let's take another point here, B. So we'll join this to this. So we have this here. They said by a chord which is equal in length to the radius of the circle. So let's have a chord AB. All right. The chord there is AB. And if they say AB is equal to, that's the chord here, AB, they said it's equal in length with the radius. So AB is radius, here will be radius, here will be radius. All right. Because the chord AB is equal in length with the radius of the circle. If that's true, we have to find the angle subtended at the center of the circle, which is this angle here. Now, if this is R and this is R and this is R, that means what we have here is an equilateral triangle. For an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal, which is R, R, and R. And also, all the angles are also equal. So this will become this and this. Now, for an equilateral triangle, each angle there is 60 degrees. So you have 60 degrees, 60 degrees, and then 60 degrees. So the correct answer there is 60 degrees. So for question number 12, the correct answer there is C, 60 degrees. Question number 13. Question 13 says, in how many ways can the letters of the word acceptance be arranged? You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Now, all you have to do for this question is, how many letters does the word acceptance have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So acceptance has 10 words. That becomes 10 factorial all over. How many words are being repeated? How many letters are being repeated? You have A and A. So A is repeated. That's 2. So you have two A's there. We'll take that as 2 factorial. Again, we have C. We have 1C, 2C, and then 3. So C occurs 3 times. So you have 3 factorial. And then we have E. So you have E as 1 and then 2. So you have 2 E's. That becomes 2 factorial. And that's all about your repeated. All right. If you look at the other letters there, P is not repeated, T is not repeated, N is not repeated. So that becomes 10 factorial all over 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial. And that is option B. So option B is the correct answer. So that's how you solve this question. Next up, question 14. 14 says the result of rolling a die is summarized in the table, this one here, that's below. What is the probability of obtaining a 5? So here's your table. Option A says 3 over 10, B 1 over 5, C 1 over 16, D 1 over 10. So how do you solve this question? Let me explain question 14 step by step. So for question 14 there, they said the first thing you want to do is to get, since it's a die, right? We know that a die has 6 sides. That means each number from number 1 to 6 should occur equally often in a given fair experiment. Now, what that means is that the total frequency would be equal to 6 times each of the parts. That's 6 times x. So that's it there. You have 6x. Now, the next thing we have to do is to find the sum of frequencies. Sum of, let's say, given frequencies. Given frequencies. What's the sum of given frequencies? What do we have there? For 14, we have, first we have there is 12 plus 18 plus x plus 30 plus 2x plus 45. Let's sum them. So that becomes 12 plus 18 plus x plus 30 plus 2x plus 45. If we sum this will be equal to 12 plus 18 plus 30 plus 45. That gives you 105 plus x plus 2x. That gives you 3x. All right. So if I sum my frequencies, you have 105 plus 3x. That's what you have. Of course, we equate both of them because this is the total frequency given the fact that it is a die and a die has number 1 to 6. And if all of them should occur equally in a fair experiment, you have 6x. So that means the 6x will be equal to this one here, the sum of given frequencies in my table, which is 105 plus 3x. From here, we can get the value of x. Move 3x over here, becomes 6x plus 3x becomes minus 3x is equal to 105. 6x minus 3x gives you 3x is equal to 105. Divide here by 3, divide here by 3, this cancels this. You have that x is equal to 105 divided by 3, and that will give you 35. So we have x as 35. We have to find the probability of having a 5. Probability of having a 5 is equal to, don't forget that probability is equal to required outcome all over possible outcome. So all over possible outcome. What's the required outcome? They said 5. For 5, let's see 5. Under 5, the value is 2x. So the required outcome, the frequency there is 2x. So that becomes 2x all over. What's the possible outcome? We've seen that the possible outcome there is actually 6x, as you can see here, which is the total frequency. That becomes 6x. We already have the value there. From here, we already have the value of x as 35. So that's equal to 2 times 35 all over 6 times x, which is 35. From here, this is equal to 2 times 35. That would give you 70 all over 6x. 6 times 35, that's 210. And if you do this division, you have here as 1 over 3. So the correct answer is 1 over 3, although we can still cancel out from here anyways and take lowest term. You still have 1 over 3. So 1 over 3 is the correct answer. All right. So from the question here, the correct option there is 1 over 3, but it's not here. So note that the correct option is 1 over 3. That's your correct answer. Next up, question number 15. 15 says add 1101 base 2 with 10111 base 2 and 11 base 2. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Let's add that. So let's write this down. The first thing you have there is this 1101. So you have 1101 base 2. Next up you have 10111. So you have 11101 base 2. Then finally you now have 1 base 2. So you have 1 base 2. Let's sum this up. So 1 plus 1 gives you 10. 10 plus 1 gives you 11. 11 is 1 carry 1. Now this one here plus 0 gives you 1. 1 plus this one gives you 10. 10 plus 1 gives you 11. Write 11 carry 1 again. This 1 plus 1 gives you 10. 10 plus 1 gives you 11. Write 11 carry 1. 1 plus 1 is 10. 10 that 10 plus 0 here gives you 10. That's 0 carry 1. 1 plus 1 gives you 10. So you have 10 here. This is in base 2. So you have 100,111. That is your correct option. All right. It's not among this. So the correct option is not here. The correct answer is 100,111 base 2. All right. So 100,111 base 2. The correct answer here is 100,111, and it's in base 2. That's your correct option. Question 16 says, find the derivative of y equal to x to the power 7 minus x to the power 5 all over 4. All right. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Now, this is simply equal to y. It's equal to x to the power 7 minus x to the power 5, all divided by x to the power 4. And an easy way to solve this would be equal to, you can break this down as x to the power 7 all over x to the power 4 minus, take this 2, that becomes x to the power 5 all over x to the power 4. And if you do this, you have this as being equal to, you have y is equal to x to the power 7 divided by x to the power 4. Well, that becomes x, subtract the powers, 7 minus 4 gives you 3, minus, next up you have x to the power 5 all over x to the power 4. That's x, subtract the power, 5 minus 4 is 1. That's the same thing as x. Now we can do our differentiation. When you're asked to find the derivative, it means differentiation. From here, dy dx is simply equal to multiply by the power there, which is 3. That becomes 3x into, what you have here is 3, subtract 1. 3 minus 1 is 2, minus, work on this here. If I differentiate x, you have 1. So the correct answer there is 3x squared minus 1. 3x squared minus 1. That is option C. Option C is the correct answer. To learn more about differentiation, check our playlist. We have a complete playlist on differentiation where I teach everything on differentiation from the very scratch. Moving on, question number 17. 17 says, if 125 base x is equal to 20 base 10, find x. A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5. All right, so how do you solve this? For 17, what you're given there is 125 base x 125 base x is equal to, you have 20 base 10, so it's equal to 20 base 10. So how do we solve this question here? Now all we have to do is take the first number there, 1 times what you have here, the base x, plus this one here, 2 times the base x, plus the next number there, 5 times the base x, equate this to 20. Now the reason why we're not multiplying with x 10 here is because 10 is the natural base of numbers. All right, so 20 base 10 is the same thing as me saying just 20. All right, so we don't have to do times 10 for this. Okay, so the next thing here, what we're trying to do here is I want to convert this to base 10, and that's why we're doing this. So after multiplying each of the terms like this with x, would increase the power starting from the right hand. This becomes starting from 0 to 1 and then to 2. That's how it's done. 1 times x squared gives you x squared, plus 2 times x to the power 1 is same as x. 2 times x gives you 2x, plus x to the power 0 gives you 1. 5 times 1 gives you 5. It's equal to 20. Let's work on this. This becomes x squared plus 2x plus 5. 20 comes over here, becomes minus 20. We equate this to, nothing is left here, becomes 0. So you have x squared plus 2x. 5 minus 20 is minus 15. This is equal to 0. Let's factorize this quadratic equation. Look for two numbers that will add to give you 2 and multiply to give you minus 15. The two numbers here are, they would be minus 3 and plus 5. Minus 3 plus 5 gives you plus 2. Minus 3 times plus 5 gives you minus 15. So that means we'll have this as x minus 3 and x plus 5. Will equate this to 0. Let's equate the first bracket to 0. We'll have this as x minus 3 equal to 0, or equate the second bracket to 0, x plus 5 equal to 0. From here, x will be equal to minus 3 comes over here, becomes plus 3, or x equal to plus 5 comes over here, becomes minus 5. So x is equal to either plus 3 or minus 5. Since x is a base like this, it has to be a positive number. So if it should be a positive number, this should not be an option. The correct answer becomes the positive term, which is 3. So for this question here, the correct answer is 3, which is B, the positive term. That's how you solve this. All right, next up, question number 18. Question 18 here says, the cost of kerosene per liter increases from 60 naira to 85 naira. What is the percentage rate of increase? A, 42%, B, 41%, C, 40%, D, 25%. All right, so how do we solve this question? How do we solve this question? For question number 18, the first thing you want to do is to find the difference there, which is the increase from 60 to 85. What's the difference? The difference is 85 minus 60. And if you do that, the value there is simply 25. So 25 naira was, or is the difference there, right? It was increased by this 25 naira. Now they said you should find what is the percentage rate of increase. The increased value there is 25%. The increased value there is 25 naira. So 25 will equal to what percentage of the initial? That's X percent of the initial. So it becomes X percent of the initial 60 naira. All right. So 25 naira is, what is the percentage rate of increase? That's X percent of this. And that becomes, from here you have that 25 is equal to X percent is X over 100 times 60. So work on this from here. What do you have? Of course, we can multiply this. This gives you 25 is equal to X times 60, 60X all over 100. From here, cross multiply. 60 times 1 gives you 60x. 60x times 1 gives you 60x is equal to 25 times 100 gives you 25. Then you have two zeros there. 0, 0. Divide here by 60. Divide here by 60. This cancels this. So x is equal to 2500 divided by 60. You have this as 41.66. They said to the nearest whole number. To the nearest whole number, this would be equal to or approximately 42. X was in percentage. So to the nearest whole number, you have 42 percentage. Yeah, percent 42. All right, so that's the correct answer. All right, question number 19. 19 says if P varies inversely as the square of Q and P equal to 8 when Q equal to 4, find Q when P equal to 32. Option A, plus or minus 16. Option B, plus or minus 8. Option C, plus or minus 4. D, plus or minus 2. So how do you answer this question here? For question number 19, what do we have there? They said P varies inversely as the square of Q. So P inversely, that's 1 all over square of Q, that's Q squared. Work on this. What do you have here? We have that P changed, replace this by equal to and K. All right, replace the proportionality sign with equal to and K dot multiplied by what you have here, 1 over Q squared. That's 1 all over Q squared. So work on this. From here, you have that P is equal to K times 1 is K all over Q squared. From here, this is all over 1. K times 1 is K is equal to, this time this gives you PQ squared. So K is PQ squared. What are the values there? They said when P is 8, Q is 4. P is 8, Q is 4. That means K is equal to P is 8, Q is 4. That becomes 4 squared. And that's 8 into 4 squared is 16. So let's multiply this. 8 times 16. If you do that, your value is 128. 128. 128. So K is equal to 128. So that's the value. All right, so we have this value here, 128. That's the value of K. Let's see next in there. Now you're asked to find Q when P is 32. When P is 32, what do you have there? This K is equal to PQ squared. When P is 32, find Q. K, we got K as 128. So 128, as you can see here, is equal to P. They gave us P there as 32. 32 into Q squared. Find the value of Q squared here. To find the value of Q, divide here by 32, divide here by 32. This cancels this. So we have that Q squared is equal to, just punch 128 divided by 32. That will give you 4. So Q will be equal to the square root of 4, which is equal to plus or minus 2. So Q is equal to plus or minus 2. And let's see, that is option D. So option D, plus or minus 2, which is the square root of 4, is the correct answer. Now, next up, question number 20. Let's look at question number 20. Question 20 here says, find the exterior angle of a 12-sided regular polygon. Option A is 12 degrees, B is 24 degrees, C is 25 degrees, D is 30 degrees. All right. So how do we solve question 20? For question number 20, now the first thing you want to notice that the interior angles of an n-sided polygon, that's n-sided polygon, is given by 2n, of course in brackets, minus 4 times 90 degrees. Now, in the question, they said 12-sided polygon. So n is number of sides, and they said 12. So from here, the interior angle will be equal to 2n becomes 2 times 12 minus 4 times 90 degrees. This is equal to, working on this, 2 times 12 here is 24. 24 minus 4 will give you 20. That becomes 20. This times what you have outside there. 20 is in brackets. So 20 this times your 90 degrees. If you multiply this, 20 times 90 gives you 1080. You have 1080 degrees. So that's your value. All right. Now the next thing you want to get is each interior angle. So for each interior angle will be given by this value here, 1080, divided by number of sides, which is 12. 180 over 12 will give you 150 degrees. So I have 150 degrees. So you have this. Now this is this is for each interior angle, all right? 150 degrees. Let's get each exterior angle. Each exterior angle will be equal to this value here, which is 150, which is 180, will be equal to 180 minus this value here, which is 150. Of course, both in degrees. 180 minus 150, you have a value there as 30 degrees. All right. So therefore, for each exterior angle of the 12-sided polygon, the value will be 30 degrees. All right. So question number this. So you have to find the exterior angle of a 12-sided regular polygon. So each of them will be 30 degrees. So D, 30 degrees, is the correct answer. Question 21 says, if x minus 3 is directly proportional to the square of y and x equal to 5 when y equal to 2, find x when y equal to 6. A, 20, B, 21, C, 16, D, 12. So how do we solve this question? Now for question number 21, for 21 there, they said that x minus 3, so x minus 3 is directly proportional to the square of y, all right? And if you have to simplify this, our first task would be take out the proportionality sign, bring an equal to as well as a constant. So we'll have that x minus 3 is equal to, I'll replace this with equal to and a constant, then I'll write this, so it's equal to y squared. So we have this. Now they said when x equal to 5, so at x equal to 5, we're given that y is equal to 2. If we substitute these values into this particular equation, we'll have that x becomes 5. So I'll have 5 minus 3 is equal to k, then y squared. We said y is 2. So we'll be having this into 2 squared. Working on this, 5 minus 3 becomes 2 is equal to k into 2 squared gives you 4. To get the value of k, divide here and divide here by 4. Divided by 4, this cancels this. So it means that k is equal to 2 over 4. If I reduce this to its lowest term, this will be equal to, this gives you 1 all over, this gives you 2. So the value of k is 1 over 2. Now we have to find the value of x at y equal to 6. At y equal to 6, we are asked to find the value of x. So x is equal to unknown. So how do we solve this? We'll go back to our initial equation, which is this. So we'll have this as x minus 3 is equals to ky squared. So from here we have x, that becomes x minus 3 is equal to k. We've gotten the value of k here as 1 over 2. That becomes 1 over 2. That's k into y squared. All right, the value of y is 6. So y squared becomes 6 all squared. All right. So from here, we are having this as x minus 3 is equal to 1 over 2 into 6 squared gives you 36. That's 36. Working on this, we'll have this as x minus 3. X minus 3 is equal to, this is half times 36, which is half of 36. Half of 36 is 18, so that's equal to 18. To get the value of x, all we have to do is move minus 3 over here to have that x is equal to 18. If I move minus 3 over the equality sign, it becomes plus 3, and that's equal to 18 plus 3, that gives you 21. So the value of x is equal to 21. So 21 is the correct answer. Let's see which option this is. So the correct option there is B, 21. That is your correct answer. All right, next up, question number 22. 22 says if in bracket 1 plus root 2 divided by 1 minus root 2 is expressed in the form x plus y root 2. All right, the given form here is x plus y root 2. You're asked to find the values of x and y. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. So how do we solve this particular question? I'll write out this question first. So for 22, what we have there is 1 plus root 2 divided by 1 minus root 2. And we have to simplify this. To simplify this, the first thing you do is that you multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. All right. You want to note that this, what you have here, is a problem on sorts. All right. And for sorts, this is the plural. All right. Singular is just sort. All right. Now for sort, you want to note that it is improper to leave your denominator, that's this one here, as a sort. So how do you simplify this? To solve this question, you multiply both numerator, that's this, and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. When you have 1 minus root 2 as your denominator, the conjugate simply becomes 1. This minus changes to plus and then root 2. So to get the conjugate, simply change the sign, all right, between this part here and the sodic one, all right, between this term here, which is 1, and the sodic term. So I'm multiplying both numerator and denominator by 1 plus root 2 all over. This is 1 plus root 2. All right, let's multiply this. This will be equal to, now to solve this question, what we'll have to do is use the first term here, which is 1, multiply these two terms. So if I take that, we'll be having the first term as 1 multiplying 1, that's 1 times 1, that will give you 1 plus 1 multiplied by root 2. 1 times root 2 gives you root 2. So I have this as root 2. Use the next term there, plus root 2. Root 2 times 1 gives you root 2. So root 2 times 1 gives you plus root 2. Then next up, you now have this, which is root 2 times root 2. Root 2 times root 2 gives you plus 2. So I have plus 2. This all divided by, so all over. For denominator, we repeat the same concept. So I'll be having 1 times 1. That gives you 1. So I have 1. 1 times root 2, that gives you root 2. So plus root 2 minus 2 times 1. Minus 2 times 1 gives you minus root 2. Okay. Minus root 2 times 1 gives you minus root 2. So I have minus root 2. Then you have minus root 2 multiplied by plus root 2. First things first, you have minus times plus. Minus times plus gives you minus. So I have minus root 2 times root 2 gives you 2. So I have this. Let's simplify this. Now, simplifying this further, what we have here, this is equal to, if I take the numbers there, 1 plus 2, that gives you 3. Root 2 plus root 2, what we'll do is that we'll add the numbers before the root 2. The number we have here is 1, So root 2 is same as 1 root 2. Also, root 2 here is same as 1 root 2. So 1 plus 1 gives you 2. So that becomes plus 2 root 2 all over. Let's work with denominator. This becomes 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 gives you minus 1 plus root 2 minus root 2. They'll cancel out. So from here, this will be equal to, all we have to do is separate the terms. I'll take this and this. That's 3 divided by minus 1. So 3 all over minus 1. The sign here is plus. So it becomes plus. Take this one here and denominator. That becomes plus 2 root 2 over minus 1. Working on this, what we have, this is equal to 3 divided by minus 1. That becomes minus 3. So minus 3 plus 2 root 2 divided by minus 1. We have plus minus gives you minus. That becomes minus. Then 2 root 2 divided by 1. Anything over 1 is that same thing. That becomes 2 root 2. Don't forget that they said the form was x plus y root 2. So if you compare this, we'll have that x is equal to the term before. Okay, let's get y first. Y is the term attached to root 2. So y is equal to, what is attached to root 2 here? It's not just 2, but minus 2. We include the minus. So y is minus 2. Meanwhile, x is the other term, which is this one here, minus 3. So x is minus 3 and y is minus 2. Let's see which option rhymes there. Minus 3 minus 2, that is option A. So option A, minus 3 minus 2. Of course, you put the x term first before the y term. So minus 3 minus 2 is the correct answer. Next up, question 23 says express 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3 significant figures. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. To express this in 3 significant figures, what do? You count your numbers there. You have 1, 2, and then you have 3. The number after 3 is 4. Of course, we know that from 0 to 4 will give you a plus 0. Meanwhile, from 5 to 9 will give you a plus 1. So 4 is under the 0 category. So it becomes plus 0 here. That means what I'll have here becomes 1, 2, 3 plus 0 gives you 3. So I'm having 1, 2, 3 plus 0 gives you 3. The other numbers become 0. So I have 0, 0, 0. That becomes 0, 0, 0. So look for which option rhymes with this. That is option A. So option A is the correct answer. So this is how we solve this question. Next up, question number 4. Next up, question number 24. 24 says, from the diagram, find the values of x and y respectively if this 3 by 2 matrix plus this other 3 by 2 matrix is equal to this 3 by 2 matrix. So how do we solve this? Now, this question is actually simple. All you have to do is add the terms in the same position. In my first bracket, this one here, right? If you look at the x position here, this is x here. You trace the 1 in the first bracket at that same position, that is 1. The sign in between them is plus. So what we have here is 1 plus x. Let's write that down. So we have 1 plus x, 1 plus x is equal to, we'll take the term in that same position, which is minus 2 here. That becomes minus 2. From here, we can get the value of x. From here, we can say that x is equal to minus 2. Move plus 1 over here becomes minus 1. So it becomes minus 2 minus 1. Minus 2 minus 1 gives you minus 3. The value of x is minus 3. So all you have to do is just to take 1, this position, plus x at the same position equal to the value of the term at that same position, which is minus 2. That's all we have to do. Moving on, let's get for y. For y, this is the position of y. So I'll take this term here. I'll take this term from this bracket. I'll take this term here. If you write it out, we'll have 2. The sign still remains plus. So it becomes 2 plus y is equal to, this is equal to the value here is minus 3. That becomes minus 3. So y is equal to minus 3. Move plus 2 over here becomes minus 2. Minus 3 minus 2. Minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. So y is minus 5. So x is minus 3, y is minus 5. we'll place x and then y. That becomes x minus 3, y minus 5. So the correct answer is minus 3 minus 5, and that is option D. All right. So option D, minus 3 minus 5, is the correct answer. So we'll go with option D for number 24. All right. Next up, question 25. 25 says a student sitting on a tower 68 meters high observes his principal's car at an angle of depression of 20 degrees. How far is the car from the bottom of the tower to the nearest meter? A, 184 meters, B, 185 meters, C, 186 meters, D, 187 meters. All right. They said to the nearest meter. Let's solve this question here. For 25, let's use a diagram for this. So 25 here. The first thing we want to get there is a tower. That's this. Let's use this as a tower. We just bring it down a bit. They'll bring this here like this. They'll bring this way. So this is the ground floor. We have this here. What you have here is a tower. All right, so this is a tower. All right, let me take this off for space. Now, in the question that they said the height of the tower is 68 meters. That means from here to the ground is 68 meters, like this. That's the height of the tower. A student is here, sits on this tower like this, and views his principal's car. Let's draw the principal's car here, somewhere around here. We'll have this and then this. All right, so we'll have the principal's car here. This student from here looks down to view the principal's car like this. Let's use this. And they said the angle of depression is about 25 degrees. 25? Oh shit. 20 degrees. 20 degrees. All right, the angle of depression is to 20 degrees. So to add 20 degrees from here, that angle will be here. All right, the angle at which he looks down is this one here. All right, this is his normal eye level. This one here, straight up, is his normal eye level, but you had to look down 20 degrees to see the principal's car. You have to find the distance from the tower or where the student is seated from here till where the principal's car is. Let's call this x. This is what you ask to find. This one here, this distance. Now, how do you solve this? The first you want to notice that this angle here, 20 degrees, will be equal to this angle here, 20 degrees. They are alternates, all right? Now, with this, you can also see that we have a right angle triangle here, all right? And with this now, we can see that considering 20 degrees here, this angle, this value here, 68 meters, is the opposite of the angle, while x here, which we're asked to find, is the adjacent. So when you have opposite and adjacent, we use tan. Don't forget that tan is TOA. Tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. So we can say tan 20 from here. We can say tan of the angle there, 20 degrees, is equal to opposite, which is 68, all over adjacent, which is x. To get the value of x, this will go up here and tan 20 comes down. So have that x is equal to 68 all over tan 20. All right. If you take your calculator and punch 68 over tan 20, your value will give you 186.8 meters. Now, in the question, they said to the nearest, let's see that question again. To the nearest meter. So let's approximate it to the nearest meter. If you approximate this, this would be approximately 187 meters. This is to the nearest meters. So that's the correct answer. 187 to the nearest meters. So D is the correct answer. All right, next up, question number 26. 26 says simplify 16 raised to the power minus 1 over 2, multiplying 4 to the power minus 1 over 2, multiplying 27 to the power 1 over 3. You have option A, 3 over 8, option B, 2 over 3, option C, 3 over 4, option D, 3 over 2. So how do we solve this particular question? For question number 26, We are given 16 to power minus 1 over 2 multiplying 4 to power minus 1 over 2 multiplying 27 to power 1 over 3. So how do we solve this question? This is equal to, this will be equal to, when you have a negative, you have to take an inverse. That means 1 all over whatever thing you have there, 16 to power 1 over 2 multiplying, you have a negative here, so we'll take an inverse. That becomes 1 all over 4 to power 1 over 2. So the concept is to eliminate this minus here, we'll take 1 over, as you can see here. All right, it's called an inverse. So that's it. Multiplied by, there is no minus here, so don't stress. That becomes 27 to power 1 over 3. Let's proceed with this. This is equal to 1 all over this 16 to the power 1 over 2. That means the square root of 16 and times 1 all over 4 to the power 1 over 2 simply means the square root of 4 times this one here, 27 to the power 1 over 3 means the third root of 27. And that's equal to 1 over the square root of 16 is 4 times 1 all over the square root of 4 is 2 times the cube root of 27 means that number that will multiply itself 3 times to give you 27. That's 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. So the cube root of 27 is 3. So we have this. If you work on this, this is equal to 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. So we have 3 all over 4 times 2 is 8. So the value there is 3 over 8. Right? That's your answer. Let's see which option that is. That is option A, 3 over 8. That's the correct answer. Next up, question 27. 27 says, if x is greater than 0, find the range of the numbers x minus 3, comma, 3x plus 2, comma, x minus 1, comma, 4x, comma, 2x minus 1, comma, x minus 2, comma, 2x minus 4, comma, 3x and 3x plus 1. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Now, when they say you're asked to find the range of the numbers, range is simply the difference between the biggest and the smallest number in a given set of numbers. When you have the numbers here, x minus 3, 3x plus 2, x minus 1, 4x, 2x minus 1, x minus 2, 2x minus 2, 3x, and 3x plus 1. Which of these will give you the greatest value? The first thing you consider here is they said x should be greater than 0. Now, let's choose a number greater than 0. Now, a number greater than 0, choose any number. We could work with 2. Let's say x is equal to 2, for instance. If x is equal to 2, that means when we have 3 minus x, it becomes 2 minus x, and that's minus 1. When we have 3x plus 2, it means 3x is 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 2, and that's 8. Now, not a good example. Let's say x is equal to 3. Let x be equal to 3. All right. So when you have this first term here, x minus 3 becomes, x is 3, so it becomes 3 minus 3. That gives you 0. Again, here you have 3x plus 2. We've said x should be 3. So 3x becomes 3 times 3 plus 2. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. So this value is 11. That's if x is equal to 3. Come to this, x minus 1 becomes 3 minus 1, which is 2. 4x here becomes 4 times x, which is 4 times 3. 4 times 3 gives you 12. So this value is about 12. For this value here, 2x minus 1. 2x is 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So this will give you the value as what? 5. Come to this, x minus 2. 3 minus 2 gives you 1. Here, 2x is 2 times x, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 minus 2, that will give you 4. And then 3x 3 times x, which is 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 3x plus 1. 3 times 3, 9 plus 1, 10. So let's get the biggest value minus the smallest value here. The biggest value from here, obviously, would be this one here, which is 4x, right? As you can see, the biggest value here is 12, and 12 is from 4x. So range becomes 4x, the biggest value, minus the smallest value. From what we have here, we can see that the smallest value is 0. And we get 0 from what there? X minus 3. So it becomes 4x minus x minus 3. All right. Difference between the biggest value, 4x, and the smallest value, x minus 3. Let's work on this. This is equal to 4x minus 2x gives you minus x, minus 2 minus 3 gives you plus 3. So I have this as plus 3. Working on this, this is equal to 4x minus x gives you 3x, then you have plus 3. So the answer to this question here is simply 3x plus 3, which is option A here, 3x plus 3. So I'm going to clear this so that we'll have a neat work. So the correct option there is A, 3x plus 3. That is your correct answer. Next up, question number 28. Let me take this one off too. Question number 28. 28 says, find the range of values for x which satisfies the inequalities 4x minus 7 less than or equal to 3x and 3x minus 4 less than or equal to 4x. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Let's start with the first thing there. 4x minus 7 is less than or equal to 3x. Let's see that. We have 4x minus 7. 4x minus 7 is less than or equal to 3x. All right, let's get to x here. All we have to do is move 3x over here and move minus 7 over the inequality sign. This becomes 4x. 3x crosses the inequality sign. It becomes minus 3x. The sign changes. The sign of 3x changes. My sign still remains less than or equal to. Minus 7 comes over here, becomes plus 7. So we have plus 7 here. 4x minus 3x gives you x. So we'll have that x is less than or equal to 7. Let's keep this as our first equation. The next inequality we're given is 3x minus 4. 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 4x. Now to solve this, move the 4x over here, move minus 4 over here, and that would be 3x. We'll move plus 4 over here becomes minus 4x, right? Move plus 4x over here becomes minus 4x. This would be also less than or equal to, repeat the sign, and then you have minus 4 crosses over to the right hand side, becomes plus 4. 3x minus 4 gives you minus x. All right, 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Minus 1 combines with x gives you minus x. Is less than or equal to 4. To get the value of x, I'll divide here by minus 1, divide here by minus 1. This cancels this, and then x over 1 gives you x. Now, remember that in the concept of inequality, if you divide with a negative term, the sign changes to the opposite. That means this sign here will change to the opposite, which is greater than or equal to 4 divided by minus 1 gives you what there? Minus 4. All right, so 4 over minus 1 gives you minus 4. Now, if x is greater than minus 4, that means minus 4 is less than or equal to x, all right? If x is greater than or equal to minus 4, then minus 4 is less than or equal to x. We'll call this equation 2. If I combine equation 1 and equation 2, from equation 2, we have that minus 4 is less than or equal to x. But in equation 1, we have that this same x is less than or equal to 7. So this same x would be less than or equal to 7. So we have this one here. So minus 4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 7. Minus 4 less than equal to x less than equal to 7. That is option A. 28, option A is the correct answer. So that's question 28. So 28, option A is the correct answer. Next up, question number 29. 29 says, what is the mean of the data t, 2t minus 1, t minus 2, 2t minus 1, 4t, and 2t plus 2? A, 2t, B, 2t minus 1, C, 2 over 3t plus 1, D, 2t minus 1 over 3. Now you're asked to find mean. To get mean, the concept is simple. What we'll do is that we'll add up all the numbers there, all the terms there. We have t, we have 2t minus 1, we have t minus 2, you have 2t minus 1, you have 4t, and you have 2t plus 2. Let's add them all up. That's question 29. If we add them up, it becomes t plus, in brackets, 2t minus 1 plus, in brackets, t minus 2 plus, in bracket, 2t minus 1 plus, again, another bracket, you have 4t plus, you have 2t plus 2. So we have this. Okay, this is all over. Let's add up all the terms you have there. You have first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, and sixth term. So all over 6 because you have 6 terms. This is equal to, let's add all the terms there. You have t plus 2t, that's 3t, 3t plus t, that's 4t, 4t plus 2t, that's 6t, 6t plus 4t, that's 10t, 10t plus 2t, that's 12t. So we have this as 12t. Let's add up the numbers there. Minus 1 plus minus 2, that gives you minus 3. Minus 3 plus minus 1, that's minus 4. Minus 4 then plus 2. Minus 4 plus 2 gives you minus 2. So minus 2 all over the 6 I have here. This is equal to, we can separate this, all right? The first thing we have there is 12t all over 6. The sign in between them is minus. The second term becomes 2 over 6. So we can separate the terms. There we have this. This is equal to 12 divided by 6 gives you 2. 2 times t gives you 2t minus, from here you have 2 over 6. In lowest term, that gives you 1 over 3. So the correct answer there is 2t minus 1 over 3. So let's see which option that is. 2t minus 1 over 3. That is option D. So you have this. All right, finally, question 30. Question 30 here says, find the capacity of a cylindrical wall of radius 1 meter and depth 14 meters. Take pi to be equal to 22 over 7. A, you have this as 44,000 liters. B, 4,400 liters. C, 440 liters. D, 44 liters. So how do we solve this question? Now note that when you're asked to find the capacity, capacity has to do with volume, right? So we have to find the volume of a cylindrical well. So we're looking at the volume of a cylinder. All right, it said cylindrical well. So we're looking at capacity, volume, cylindrical well, cylinder. So for question 30, let's get the volume of a cylinder. 30, let's get volume of a cylinder. Now for volume of a cylinder there, what we have, the formula is V is given by pi r squared h. All right, where r is the radius and h is the depth. Now from here, this is equal to pi, which we are asked to take it as 22 over 7 times r squared. So the value of r is 1 and it's being squared into h. The value of h is 14. So we have this. Now let's work on this. If you work on this here, we have that v is equal to, let's get a calculator and punch this. So we have this as 21 squared gives you 1. So you have 22 times 1 times 14. 22 times 1 gives you 22. 22 times 14 gives you 308. All divided by denominator is 7. So you have 308 all over 7. That gives you 44. So the volume is 44. But note that 1 and 14 were given in terms of meters. So that becomes this meter cube. So if you're dealing with meter cube, the volume is 44 meter cube. But come to this, what do you observe? The parameters here or the units are not in meter cube, they are in liters. So we have to convert from meter cube to liters. How do we do that? You need to note that 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liters. So to convert from meter cube to liters, multiply by 1000. It means that V will be equal to 44, which is a meter cube, multiplied by 1000, and that gives you 44,000 in liters. So in terms of liters, the volume has been converted and its value is 44,000 liters. So let's see if we have this option in the liters value. Yes, we do. That is option A. So option A, 44,000 liters, is the correct answer. Question 31 says, factorize completely 4x plus 3y all squared minus 3x minus 2y all squared. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. So how do we solve this question? For 31, I'll write out the question there. So for question 31, we have 4x plus 3y all squared minus 3x minus 2y all squared. So how do we simplify this? Now, if you look at this, this looks like something on difference of two squares. Recall that in difference of two squares, you have a squared minus b squared, and a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b multiplying a minus b. All right, so from here, that means this will be equal to, the first thing we have there is from here, when we say a squared minus b squared, that means if I'm having 4x plus 3y all squared, this becomes a squared minus 3x minus 2y all squared becomes minus, this becomes b squared. So a is this. So if you have a plus b, that will be equal to a becomes 4x plus 3y. This is a plus, in the bracket we have a plus b. The value of b, as we can see, is this, which is 3x minus 2y. This is a plus b multiplying, we said a plus b multiplying a minus b. So this will now multiply a minus b. We said a is 4x plus 3y, that's a, minus b. So this minus, cover the bracket, minus b. The value of b is 3x minus 2y. 3x minus 2y. We have this. Let's work on this. This will be equal to, in the first bracket, what you have there is 4x plus 3x. That gives you 7x. 3y minus 2y. That gives you plus y. In the second bracket, we have 4x minus 3x, right? 4x minus 3x gives you just x. Into, for the y, we have 3y minus 2y. Minus gives you plus. So 3y plus 2y gives you 5y. You have this as plus 5y. So what we have there is 7x plus y multiplying x plus 5y. This can still be written as, if you interchange them, this is simple as x plus 5y multiplying 7x plus y is the same thing. So let's see which option has this as its answer. So from what we have here, we can see that the correct answer there is option A. So option A is the correct answer. Next up, question number 32. 32 says, calculate the distance between point L with coordinates -1, -6 and M with coordinates -3, -5. You have A as root 5, B as 2 root 3, C as root 10, D as root 53. So which of these is the correct answer, or how do we solve this question? Now, to get the distance between 2 points there for 32, for question 32, distance between 2 points, let's say x, y. Let's say we have a first point, point A, where you have x1, y1, this, and point B, which is x2, y2. The distance between A and B, the 2 points A and B, is given by the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So that's your formula. Now, considering the points given here for 32, -1 -6 -3 -5, -1 -6, so you have -1 -6 and -3 -5. You have this. That becomes the square root of, let's get x2 minus x1. So in this question here, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. So x2 minus x1 becomes, x2 is -3. So -3 minus x1, x1 is -1. So -3 minus x1 is -1 all squared plus y2 minus y1. y2 is -3. So you have -3 minus y1. y1 is -6. So this into -6 all squared. Working on this is equal to the square root of, what I have here is -3 minus -1 gives you +1. This all squared plus -5 minus -6 is +6 all squared. Continuing this is equal to the square root of -3 plus 1 is -2, -2 all squared plus -5 plus 6 is +1. That's 1 all squared. This is 1, okay, all squared. And this is equal to square root of -2 all squared gives you 4 plus 1 squared gives you 1. That becomes square root of 4 plus 1 is 5. So the correct answer here is square root of 5. So let's see which option is root 5. So looking at this, the correct option there is A, root 5. That's the correct answer. Next up, this should be 33, not 36, okay? Question number 33. For 33, you have find the median of 4, 4, 1, 0, 4, 4, 2, and 0. Option A, 0. Option B, 1. Option C, 2. Option D, 4. So how do you get the median? All you have to do is to arrange these numbers given here in their ascending orders, all right, from the least to the greatest. The first number we have there is 0. So we have 0, comma, we have another 0 there, so 0, comma, then we have 1, so 1, comma, we have 2, then we have 2, comma, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 fours. So we have 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, that's 4. So to get the median of any set of numbers, arrange them in ascending order from the least to the greatest number. When you're done, cancel them from both sides. So from here, I'll cancel 1, 2. From the right hand side, 1, 2. Cancel again, 1 from here, cancel 1 from here. You see that I'm left with 2 and 4. All right. If you're left with two numbers like this, what do? You just add the two numbers. That becomes 2 plus 4 divided by 2. All right. So you take the average, 2 plus 4 over 2. 2 plus 4 is 6 all over 2, and that gives you 3. That means the median there is 3. All right, the median is 3. We don't really have any option there. So the correct answer for this is actually 3. That's the correct answer. All right, so 3 is the correct answer. Proceeding there, question number 34. 34 says the fifth term of an AP is 24 and the 11th term is 96. Find the first term. A, 12, B, 4, C, minus 12, D, 24. So how do we solve this question here? For question 34, they said the fifth term of an AP. We know that for AP, fifth term is given by A plus 4D. So fifth term is equal to 24. That's option. Let's call this question 1. They also said 11th term. Also for an AP, the 11th term is given by A plus 10D. And they said 11th term is equal to 96. So this is equal to 96. Let's call this equation 2. We asked to find the value of the first term, which is A. So how do we solve A? Or how do you solve for A? Equation 1 says A plus 4D is equal to 24. Equation 2 says A plus 10D is equal to 96. Let's do some subtraction. If you subtract them, A minus A, that gives you 0. So A cancels out. Next up, you have 4D minus plus 10D. 4D minus plus 10D gives you minus 6D. That's more like saying 4 minus 10. That's minus 6D. Next up, 24 minus 96. This one here. All right. 24 minus 96. You have your answer as minus 72. So this is equal to minus 72. From here, let's get the value of D. Divide here by minus 6. Divide here by minus 6. This cancels this. This cancels this. So from here, we'll have that D is equal to minus cancels minus. We have this as 72 over 6. And that gives you 12. So D is 12. We are asked to find the value of A, not D. From equation 1, we said A plus 4D. So A plus 4D is equal to 24. But we just said that D is equal to 12. That means A plus 4 times 12 is equal to 24. A plus 4 times 12 is equal to 48. That's 48 is equal to 24. So A is equal to 24. Move 48 over here, becomes minus 48. 24 minus 48 gives you minus 24. So the value of A is minus 24. Let's see which option has this as the answer. That is option D, minus 24. So that's your correct answer. Let's look at the next question, question number 35. 35 says the locus of a point equidistant from 2 points P given by the coordinates 6, 2 and R given by the coordinates 4, 2 is a perpendicular bisector of PR passing through A, 2, 5, B, 5, 2, C, 1, 0, D, 0, 1. Now they said a perpendicular bisector. All right. Let's take the coordinates for P and R for 35. For P, we're given the coordinates as 6 and 2. And for R, we're given coordinates as 4 and 2. Now you want to know that since both of them have the same y coordinates, that's 2 and 2, all right? For both of them, they have the same y coordinate 2 and 2. That means PR is actually a horizontal line. And if it's a horizontal line, let's get the midpoint. The midpoint of PR is equal to, all we have to do to get the midpoint is that we have combined the x value which for P is 6, for R is 4. So it becomes 6 plus 4 over 2 minus, for the Y value, for P you have 2, for R you have 2. That becomes 2 plus 2 all over 2. This is equal to, for the first part, we have 6 plus 4, that's 10, all over 2, comma. Then you have 2 plus 2, which is 4, all over 2. This is equal to 10 over 2, that gives you 5. So I have 5, comma, 4 over 2, that gives you 2. So the value there is 5, comma 2. For this, we'll have that the perpendicular bisector of a horizontal line is a vertical line passing through the midpoint. So that means that vertical line, the perpendicular bisector, will pass through this, the midpoint here, which is given by 5, comma 2. So let's see which option has this 5, comma 2. So here, the correct answer there is B, 5, comma 2. Let's look at the next question there. Question number 36. Next up, question 36. 36 says evaluate the integral of 6x squared minus 2x dx, upper limit 2, lower limit 1. The A part says 16, B 13, C 12, D 11. So how do we solve this question? For 36, we are asked to evaluate the integral of 6x squared minus 2x dx, upper limit 2, lower limit 1. So the first thing we have to do is we'll ignore the limits and focus on the integral. So let's integrate 6x squared minus 2x. That's the first task there. This, of course, with respect to x, that's dx. That would give you, to integrate this becomes 6x squared. To integrate this, the power here is 2. We'll add 1 to it, so it becomes plus 1. Divide by what you have here, which is 2 plus 1. So 2 plus 1, we have this here. Next up, the next thing we have there is minus. So it becomes minus. The next thing we have is 2x. So you have 2x there. For x to the power is 1, we said add 1 to the power. That's the concept there. So add 1 here and divide by what we have here. That becomes 1 plus 1. That will give you 6x into 2 plus 1 gives you 3. 3 as a power all over. Denominator, I have 3. This minus, you have 2x. 2 plus 1 gives you 2. So I have this as 2 all over. 2 plus 1 is 2. So you have this as 2. Breaking this down to, from here, 3 here, 1, 3 here, 2. So you have this as 2x cubed minus, from here, 2 cancels 2 is off. I'm left with x squared. So you have this. Of course, when you're dealing with definite integrals, you don't consider the plus your constant. You don't have to consider that. All right. So we have this so far. Now what we'll do is that we'll take this value and we'll reintroduce the limits 2 and 1. So what we have there is 2x cubed minus x squared. 2x cubed minus x squared. Introduce the limits of 2 and 1. This is simply equal to, the first thing that is that wherever I see x, I'll put the upper limit, that's 2. That becomes 2 into x cubed becomes 2 cubed minus x squared becomes 2 squared. You have this. This minus, now bringing x as the lower limit, that becomes 2x cubed, 2 times 1 cubed minus x squared, that's 1 squared. So you have this. All right. So putting x as 2 and then putting x as 1, that's the concept there. From here, this will give you 2 into 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which gives you 8 minus 2 squared is 4. We'll have this here. Minus, you have this as 2. 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Minus 1 squared is 1. All right, proceeding with this. This would give you 2 times 8 is 16 minus 4. minus 2 times 1 gives you 2 minus 1. This will give you 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 gives you 12. 12 minus 2 minus 1 is 1. 12 minus 1 gives you 11. All right. So the correct answer there is 11. So 11 is the correct answer. Let's see which option has 11 as its answer. From here, we have D, 11. That becomes our correct answer. All right. All right. Next up, question number 37. Question 37. 37 says, find the gradient of a line which is perpendicular to the line with the equation 3x plus 2y plus 1 equal to 0. A, 3 over 2. B, 2 over 3. C, minus 2 over 3. D, minus 3 over 2. So how do we solve this question? For 37, we're given the line as 3x plus 2y plus 1 is equal to 0. Your first task here is to make y to be subject of the formula. That means move 3x over here and move plus 1 over here. You'll be left with 2y is equal to 3x moves over there becomes minus 3x plus 1 moves over becomes minus 1. Now to get y, divide each term by 2. So this cancels this. We have that y is equal to what I have here is minus 3 over 2x. And then you have minus 1 over 2. Now, if they said the line is perpendicular, and recall that for a straight line equation, y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope. If you compare this with what we have here, the value of m here becomes minus 3 over 2. So m is equal to minus 3 over 2. So from here, we can see that the slope is equal to minus 3 over 2 as you have here. All right. In the question, we are asked to find the slope of a perpendicular line. One thing you want to notice that for a perpendicular line, all right, if two lines are perpendicular, it means that the product of their slopes is equal to minus 1. That means the slope of this first line we are given here, which is m, let's call it m. So m times the slope of the perpendicular line, let's call it m of perpendicular line, is equal to minus 1. That's the condition. In essence, we can see that the slope of the perpendicular line, MP, would, to get the value of MP, divide here by M, divide here by M. This cancels this. So M, slope of perpendicular line, will be equal to minus 1 all over the slope of the line. And that's equal to minus 1 all over the slope of the line, as we've seen here, is minus 3 over 2. All right, it's called gradient or slope. That means minus 3 over 2. From here, minus cancels minus. All right, this is simply 1 divided by 3 over 2. And that would be 1 times, invert this, it becomes 2 over 3. 1 times 2 over 3 gives you 2 over 3. That means the slope of the perpendicular line is 2 over 3. So let's see which option has that. So from here, the correct answer is 2 over 3, that's B. So B, 2 over 3, is the correct answer. Let's look at the next question there. Question number 38. 38 is said in the diagram, PQ is perpendicular to RS. The size of the angle marked X is A, 100, B, 80, C, 50, D, 30. You have to find this angle here, this angle here, X. How do you solve that? Now, from this diagram here, this angle here is opposite with this angle here. And we know that opposite angles are equal. So here will also be 50 degrees. All right. It's opposite with this one. So opposite angles are equal. That's the first you want to note. Next up here, looking at this clearly, you can find a triangle. You can see something that looks like this. Okay. We've gotten here as 50 degrees. using the concept of opposite angles. Here is 30 degrees. This is what they marked as x. This is x here from this diagram here. Let's get this value here. Let's call this value y. Now we know that for sum of angles in a triangle, 50 plus 30, of course, in degrees, plus the value of y should be equal to what there? 180. Because of sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. 50 plus 30 gives you 80, plus y is equal to, this in degrees, is equal to 180 degrees. To get y, move this over here. So have that y is equal to 180 degrees minus 80 degrees. All right? 180 degrees minus 80 degrees, that gives you 100 degrees. So the value of y, this part here, is 100 degrees. If you look at this clearly, you will see that x and y are on a straight line. Look at this. All right. So if I bring the straight line like this, it's going this way here. You have this as y, you have this as x. And sum of angles on a straight line is equal to 180. That means y plus x should be equal to 180 because they form a straight line. That's 180. 180 degrees. Y is 100 plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So x now becomes 180 degrees minus 100 degrees. 180 degrees minus 100 degrees, that gives you 80 degrees. So the value of x is 80 degrees. Let's see which option has that. That is option B. So option B, 80 degrees, is the correct answer. Question number 39. 39 says, from the diagram, what is the value of r? So you have this, all right? You have a matrix here, 2 by 2, minus 2, 1, 2, 3, PQRS equal to 1, 0, 0, 1. Option A, minus 3 over 8. Option B, 3 over 8. Option C, 5 over 8. Option D, 1 over 4. Now, to solve this question here, you need a good idea of matrix multiplication. And to multiply matrix, take the row here, multiplying the column here, and that will be minus 2 times p, which is minus 2p, minus 2p, plus 1 times r. That will give you 1. That will give you r. You equate it to the first term here, which is 1. Next up, do the next thing again here. That becomes, use the row to multiply the same column, and that becomes 2 times p, which is 2p, plus 3 times r, which is 3r, is equal to what you have at this point here, and that gives you zeros. That's equal to 0 here. Now, if you work on this, if I add this up, what you have here is plus minus 2 plus minus 2p plus 2p. That gives you 0. So it's off. You're left with r plus 3r. That gives you 4r is equal to 1 plus 0. That gives you 1. Divide here by 4. Divide here by 4. This cancels this. So r is equal to 1 over 4. So 1 over 4 is your correct answer. And that is option D. So option D there, 1 over 4 is your answer. All right, the final question there. Question number 40. So question 40, how do we solve this? Question 40 says, a binary operation on a set of real numbers excluding minus 1, such that for all m, n is an element of a real number, is given by m as m, you have m here, triangle n is equal to m plus n plus mn, as seen here. Find the identity element of the operation. A, 1, B, 0, C, minus 1 over 2, D, minus 1. So how do you solve this question? So you're given m triangle n as being equal to m plus n plus mn. Now, they said we should find the identity element. you want to note that the identity element satisfies a particular condition, and it satisfies the concept that M triangle identity element will be equal to M. That's the concept here. All right, so it'll be equal to what you have here, which is what? M. And if that's true, if you have that M triangle N is M plus N plus Mn, it means M triangle E becomes M plus, when this was N, you had N here, as you can see, but now we are using E to become M plus E plus, the next term should be Mn, but again, we're working with E, so it becomes Me, so plus Me is equal to what I have here, M. So we're expressing this one here in terms of this. That's the concept. All right, so from here, let's solve this. From here, we have E plus Me is equal to M. Move this M over here, it becomes minus M. So from here, I'm having E plus Me is equal to M minus M gives you 0. You have 0 here. We can factorize this. If you factorize the E, you'll be left with 1 plus M. All right, by factorize, I mean divide here by E, divide here by E. E cancels E, I have 1. Me, these cancels, I have M. So I have 1 plus M in brackets. This will be equal to, of course, also divide this by E. 0 divided by anything gives you 0. So that's equal to 0. From here, if you have this, it means that E is equal to 0. That means E is equal to 0, or this other term in brackets, 1 plus M is equal to 0. Now, since I'm working with the identity element, that's E, that means in this case here, we'll take only this one here, the identity element E. So E will be equal to 0. So what satisfies that condition is E equal to 0. So the correct answer there is B, 0. All right, so this is how we solve these questions. All right, so we are done with the 2024 JAMB Mathematics examination questions. Don't forget to follow us for revision on JAMB Physics, JAMB Chemistry, JAMB Biology, and JAMB Chemistry. Thank you and see you in our next class. Okay, guys, so please take note that we have a JAMB WhatsApp group for JAMB Bites. All right, so if you're writing JAMB, we have a JAMB WhatsApp group where we do daily revisions on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. So if you're a science student and you want to join our JAMB WhatsApp group, I'll leave a link to the JAMB WhatsApp group in the video description. All right, you can also join our JAMB channel membership to get access to exclusive content for JAMB Bites, or you can get the full JAMB course on our website. Simply visit www.jonahemmanuel.com/courses and you see the JAMB/WAEC classes. All right. Okay, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. All right. Like this video. Also leave a comment. All right. For the comments, I gave you a task, question number 11. Solve it. Leave your answer in the comment section, and I'll tell you if you're correct or not. Don't forget to also subscribe. If it's your first time here or you're yet to subscribe, please do what to subscribe, hit the bell icon and select all so that you get notified whenever we upload a new content. Then finally, ensure to share this video to your friends and their colleagues so that they can also learn. Thank you and see you in our next class.